The facts. Before we dive into the dead twin theory and the actual possible real-life Charlie and Lola related murder, let us first establish some facts. Fact number 1. In Charlie and Lola, the parents play an extremely hands-off role in the upbringing of their children. Mum and Dad are barely ever mentioned by the kids, let alone seen on the screen with them. Fact number 2. Lola has an incredibly active imagination. She can imagine scenes and scenarios in such vivid detail that she ends up believing them herself. Fact number 3, Lola is heavily dependent on Charlie to support her in every aspect of her life. Whether it's cooking her dinner or comforting her when she doesn't get the lead role in the school play, Charlie is the rock on which Lola depends, both practically and emotionally, like in every single way you can possibly imagine. Fact number 4. In 2006, a man named Daniel Mayers played the part of Charlie Sonner. In 2020, a man named Daniel Mayers was found guilty of murder. So, with all of that out of the way, let's come now to the really important question. Who the hell is Charlie and Lola's brother? Yes, Daniel Mayers, you will have to wait. Soren Lorenson. Before we explore dead ghost siblings, we first have to talk about Soren Lorenson. If you thought that Lola had a close relationship with Charlie, you should see her relationship with Soren Lorenson. Soren Lorenson is Lola's best friend, her security blanket, her confidant. For example, in Series 1 Episode 14, It's a Secret, Lola tells Soren a secret that she tells no one else.
Are you Soren Lorenson? Well...
Not even Charlie, who's hiding under the bed for some reason.
It's this. La 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 la. But what were you doing under the bed, Charlie?
Furthermore, in Series 1 Episode 16, I Love Going to Granny and Grandpa's It's Just That, Lola is worried about visiting her grandparents because Soren Lorenson will miss her so much. Soren even plays a key role in the Charlie and Lola books. For example, in the book I'm Absolutely Too Small for School, who volunteers to go to school with Lola to show his support? Lauren Sorensen. The Soren Lorenson obsession continues right up until Series 3 Episode 26, I've Got Nobody to Play With, the series finale. Lola wants to play with Charlie, but he is going to the sports centre with Marv. When Lola finds it difficult to play alone and all her friends are too busy to play with, she feels lonely. That is, until Lola remembers who she can play with. Soren Lorenson! If you think that Soren Lorenson is too good to be true, well, that's because he is. He's totally and utterly imaginary, a figment of Lola's imagination. For more conspiracy theories, please hit that subscribe button below. Thank you. So, now we know the who, we need to figure out the why. The dead twin theory. Could Soren Lorenson be Lola's deceased twin brother? As this user explains, I haven't seen this show in so long, but now that I remember it, how come no one ever mentioned how similar Lola's imaginary friend looks to them? What if he was a ghost of their sibling that died, and she calls him that name, Soren Lorenson, because she can't remember his actual name? There's a lot to unpack here. Let's start by looking at the physical appearance of Soren Lorenson. The physical similarities between Lola and Soren Lorenson, well, to say they're stark would be an understatement. Soren is, to all intents and purposes, the male version of Lola. Visually, they are two sides of the same coin. This fact is telling. As we have seen, Lola is capable of imagining pretty much anything. This is a girl that can dream up versions of herself as a building, and then, just as easily, turn herself into a mountain. Why has such a creative girl limited herself into imagining a male version of herself? Perhaps Lola isn't limiting herself at all. Think about it. Perhaps she's actually using her imagination to create as realistic a brother in her imagination as she possibly could. Lola, being an incredibly imaginative young girl, would likely visualize Soren Lorenson to be exactly as he would have appeared had he not died. Well, not exactly as he would have appeared. Soren Lorenson is translucent. Translucent as in imaginary friend, or translucent as in ghost of her dead brother? That's for you to know and for me to find out. This user thinks they know. I have a theory. When Lola was born, she had a twin brother, but he died at birth, and Soren Lorenson is the ghost. Lola can only sustain the fiction of Soren Lorenson when no one else is around. This suggests an incredibly personal connection that Lola has to Soren. When someone else tries to intrude on this private world, the illusion dies, and Lola is yoinked back to reality. Again, Soren is the only imaginary thing in Lola's universe that she cannot sustain when others are around. Maybe it's because this one connection is simply too deep and too meaningful to let anybody else in. even Charlie. In addition to being imaginative, Lola is an emotionally intelligent child. Perhaps she created Soren as a way to keep his memory alive. As Soren is a male version of herself, perhaps Soren could indeed be the dead twin of Lola. Maybe he died tragically during childbirth. As Lola survived, her brother died. Whereas the more stoic Charlie just gets on with it. He doesn't think back and reflect on this traumatic event. Lola is attached to the idea of having a twin brother, despite the fact, because he died when he was so young, Lola never actually had the opportunity to meet him for herself. Perhaps the existence of Soren Lorenson also explains why, in a roundabout way, Lola is so attached to Charlie. As this user puts it, why in every single episode does Charlie play with his little sister so much? Is it because he is trying to cheer her up? Because Lola misses her twin brother each and every day. As her brother Soren died when Lola was a baby, Lola grasps onto her surviving brother with a clinginess that is not often seen between two siblings of such a similar age. Remember, Charlie is 7 whereas Lola is just 4. But why does Lola cling on to Charlie rather than her own parents? The depressed parents theory. The idea that Soren Lorenson may be the dead sibling of Charlie and Lola adds yet another layer to the dead parents theory. The dead parents theory suggests that the reason why Charlie is so parentified at such a young age is because their parents are no longer alive, leaving the 7-year-old Charlie to play the role of dad to his 4-year-old sister. But if a baby Soren died in some inexplicable tragic incident, perhaps he was a stillborn, perhaps he died in a bathtub, who knows, would that not have sent the parents into a dark depression? This could explain why the parents are so absent. They plunged into a deep, dark pit of depression, leaving them unable to function as members of society. This would be especially true if young Soren died in a tragic accident, perhaps a preventable one for which the parents blamed themselves. This would in turn leave a young Charlie to pick up the pieces, stripping the boy of his childhood and forcing him to mature beyond his years. Indeed, Charlie is so much like a parent to Lola that this user says that they have even learned about effective parenting from the ever wily and resourceful Charlie. He can always come up with an explanation, provide a distraction, change a subject, or simply negotiate a bit. If Charlie is teaching real-life parents in the real world how to be better parents, then, in my opinion, to call Charlie Lola's dad is not even an overstatement, it's just the truth. One way or another, the parents are simply so absent that, in Charlie and Lola's world, they simply may as well not exist. Perhaps Soren Lorenson is just a clever storytelling device. It's Lauren Child's way of saying, try talking to your inner friend when the ones outside don't make sense. But maybe there is something more sinister at play. The existence of Soren Lorenson confirms at the very least that there is something very wrong with the life of Lola Sonna. Why else would Lola feel the need to not only create, but to be so heavily dependent upon an imaginary friend, given that she already has real life friends such as Lotta and an amazingly understanding older brother such as Charlie? Soren, like Charlie, is filling a gap left by either depressed or dead parents. Which one? Again, that's for you to know and for me to find out. Even way back in 2014, this user noticed something strange about the show, writing, I love watching this with my 3-year-old, but I have the sneaking suspicion that there are ghosts haunting the flat they live in. You never actually see the parents, and there is a certain sadness to Soren Lorenson. My 3-year-old doesn't get this yet, of course, but she will. And yet, the rabbit hole goes deeper. Did you ever wonder why there are so many dark conspiracy theories floating around about Charlie and Lola? The murder theory. Take it from me, it never used to be this way. As someone that grew up with Charlie and Lola, it seemed to be, back in the day at least, an innocent and whimsical show. Then, all of a sudden, the show had a dark side. Perhaps fact and fiction started to blur when, on TikTok, rumours started to spread that the voice actor of a certain Charlie Sonna was involved in a brutal murder and was thus facing life in jail. The man's name was Daniel Mayers. There is almost no information about Daniel Mayers, the voice actor, on the internet. For context, there are 3 seasons of Charlie and Lola. Daniel Mayers starred in season 2 of the show only and then vanished. He didn't just vanish from the Charlie and Lola universe though, he disappeared from the face of the earth. I've trawled the internet for hours and there is literally no information out there about this guy. He did Charlie and Lola season 2, refused to elaborate and then left, never to return. That is, until he did, or did he? This is where it gets confusing. TikTokers seem to think that he made a comeback. Not to voice act, but to kill.
The voice actor that voiced Charlie is Daniel Mayers. As you can see, that's a mugshot. So he got arrested. But what did he get arrested for, you might ask? Apparently for unaliving someone.
What the TikToker is referring to is this article that I'm going to show you right now. To quote the article verbatim, 2 cowardly men who attacked a frail man in a hostel before leaving him to die while they went to play snooker have been found guilty of murder. Peter Robson died the day after he was assaulted by Daniel Whitmore and Daniel Mayers in his room in Glegg Street Hostel, Macclesfield in November 2019. Chester Crown Court heard they had targeted the 59-year-old because of his vulnerability and frailties. The TikToker seems to think that the Daniel Mayers who played Charlie Sonnet in season 2 of Charlie and Lola is the same man who committed this horrible, terrible crime. Personally, however, I'm not convinced that's the truth. And if it's not the truth, then I feel really sorry for the voice actor Daniel Mayers who's had to put up with these horrible smears against him. Because, think about it, there are almost certainly hundreds of people called Daniel Mayers in the UK. The odds of these two simply having the same name are pretty damn high. Moreover, why did it not mention that this Daniel Mayers played the role of Charlie Sonnet in the BBC article? Charlie and Lola is a show beloved by millions of Brits. It would definitely be in the public interest to know that a star voice actor from this show committed murder. It wasn't mentioned because, almost certainly, it's not the same Daniel Mayers. To all you TikTokers out there, if your best evidence is the famously unreliable Google search, then really, that's no evidence at all. Regardless of the truth, however, the theory has spread and become fact in the minds of many. It's blended together this brutal murder with a cute show beloved by millions. Dark conspiracy theories have infiltrated our beautiful world of Charlie and Lola, and well, there's no way back now. Thank you to my channel members for supporting me and helping me to make videos like this. Click that join button if you want to help a brother out. Regardless, I really appreciate all your support. Thank you so much for watching. Snipe, snap, out.
Could we please have the globe back? Bling back.